Hi, I apologize in advance because my partner's microphone broke, and that is what I normally use to record these videos. So, the audio quality might be worse in this one because I have to use my Let's Play microphone, which is of worse quality and all that, but I hope it's not a big deal enough to ruin the video for you. With that being said, here's the video, I guess. I don't know. So, unlike last time where I knew absolutely nothing about Avatar The Last Airbender outside of like basic information everybody knows, I know a little bit more about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Kinda. I watched the 2003 show and I watched Fast Forward as a kid and I remember enjoying them. And I played the PS2 beat 'em up all the time with my friends in foster care, but I don't remember much about the franchise and I don't know. I at least know some more stuff about it than I do Avatar, even if it's all very fuzzy from age. Well, I don't think aesthetically and vibes wise TMNT clicks with Magic as well as, say, Final Fantasy or Avatar did. I don't think it's as jarring as some people make it out to be. The visuals match the Magic the Gathering aesthetic decently well, while I admit some of the cartoonier cards feel a little out of place. I think the mechanics are a bit bland and on the safe side, but there is some cool stuff in here. With all that being said, let's talk about my favorite cards in the set. As usual, this is covering only the main set. Mostly. I do like a lot of cards in the main set, but a lot of the cards in here are more so basic and don't have much to talk about, and will have very short sections, so this time I'm going to include some cards from the other products like the Commander deck. Also, this is in the context of Commander. Some of the cards could be shittily designed for Standard or Modern or whatever, but that won't determine my opinion. Also, there's no order. This isn't a top 10 or top 15 or whatever. This is just the cards that I like most in the set in no particular order. No honorable mentions this time since I mostly think all my favorite cards are at least a little bit worth talking about in some detail. Foot Mystic was not only my nickname in high school, but it's also a fine lifelinker that. Okay, honestly, this card's fine. I'm only including it so I can make that joke. I hope you'll forgive me. I guess I don't know. Whatever. It's fine. I don't know. The Last Ronin is a pretty cool saga. The first effect is a decent board wipe, although 6 is a lot of mana for that. The second chapter is basic, but still nice. It's self-mill with decent recursion, though I wish you can get non-creatures too. And the last chapter is a great finisher that gives pretty good keywords and a decent boost. 3 turns is a bit of an investment, and it's not the best saga out there or anything. I just think it's a neat card. I don't know. The neutrinos are pretty interesting to me. I like a Boros take on Blink since most people play those in Azorius or Mono White, and a repeatable and evasive blinker that triggers on attack instead of combat damage ensures you're probably going to at least get one blink in. I could see you thinking it's just Brago and Boros, but I think that alone makes it at least somewhat neat. I like different color takes on what is normally associated with a specific color or even a specific color pair. I just really like that design space and hope they do it more often. Bebop and Rocksteady, the Golgari one, not the solo cards, or the partner ones, or the ones that give keywords to boars and rhinos, but the Golgari ones are? It's multiple characters on one card, so they are pretty cool. I'm a graveyard player, of course. I'm gonna like easily revivable, undercosted creatures with quote unquote downside, especially when that downside is actually helpful in a lot of decks, or at the very least meaningless due to tokens. This is 100% going into my Gitrog monster deck. I really like it. Karai, Future of the Foot is. Look, I already made a foot joke with the Foot Mystic. I got it out of the way, so I'm just going to ignore that part. Otherwise, we'd be here all day. That aside, I love ninjas and ninjutsu in general, and I'm 100% going to do an EDH guide on Esper ninjas when I can. And this is one of my favorites in the set, which, of course it is. It's recursion that's repeatable. I wish it had an evasive keyword, but it's not the end of the world, and it's still good as is. Prehistoric Pet is just a little friend. He's just a little guy, a little pal, a little baby dino, a little silly boy. That's it. Next card. Okay, fine. In Pantlaza, this card is a low toughness creature that can get you one of the few low cost cards in your deck from the discovery you trigger, while also being a fine evader that can also return dinosaurs to your hand, so you can recast them later and trigger Pantlaza again. It's also just an adorable little fella, a small bean, a little ninja pal. Okay, really now, next card, next card. Mondo Gecko is like totally tubular, dude. It's like a bodacious bro that has wicked decent toughness that makes it an alright defender, and its super awesome ability gives it a gnarly protection effect, and its second ability is okay, I can't keep this up. Its second ability is pretty great in all color decks, while also being pretty dang good in even 2 or 3 color decks. I'm sure as hell putting this in my Giganta Mutate deck, since giving a Mutate stack protection and a good draw effect on something that's most likely 3 colors minimum is pretty good. Shark Shredder Killer Clone, which took me like 5 takes to get right, is a shark octopus ninja, but somehow not a mutant, and is also a pretty cool design space. Stealing your opponent's creatures from their grave mixed with the sneak ability to ensure you get in one good hit, while also making them come out tapped and attacking, gives the opponents a tough situation of wanting to block, so you don't keep their cool creature, but not wanting their guys to die by blocking it. It's just really cool design space, and doesn't feel gross like some other stealing effects can to me. Career of Comestibles, which is a word I had to look up, don't judge me, does something I always like with cards. It's searching food cards, which is normally only on tokens, lets you search some weird stuff and have to dig around to find all the non-token food cards to try to make something silly around it. I wish it was legendary since I think you can make for a fun commander, but I get a commander that tutors usually isn't that fun, so I get why it's not, I guess. Dawn and Leo is a pretty neat commander in my opinion. I know Blink is kind of overdone and has a billion commanders to pick from, but I think making this focus more on artifacts when a lot of Blink decks I've seen focus on creatures, even when the commander can blink any permanent, makes it at least a bit more interesting to me. There's not a ton to say here though, it's just a pretty neat Blink commander, I don't know. Dawn and Wrath are pretty cool to me. Giving your spells affinity for artifacts when they attack is strange but cool. Since it's on attack, you can have some fun with weird combat tricks in an aggressive deck, use mutagen tokens to cast a near free battle trick, or doing a more stompy deck where you cheat in overcosted creatures, admittedly in your second main phase, but still. It leads to an artifact deck that at least feels a little different to me than the normal, but make sure you play a haste enabler to give them haste so they can attack on the turn they come out, so they can be Dawn and Wrath, and quick and nimble and quick and nimble and quick and nimble and quick and nimble and quick. Pizza Face Gastromancer was not only my nickname in high school, but oh, I already used that joke. Anyways, it's a neat take on food. Instead of focusing on life gain or artifact matters or tokens matter, this instead encourages you to turn your food into strange mutant creatures to swing in with them all, as well as working with +1/+1 counters for mutagen synergy and the rest of the set. I do think it being at your end step is a bit disappointing, but I do like interesting takes on semi-tired ideas, and I feel like we've gotten a lot of food stuff lately in Magic, and this is just a more interesting take on that. Triceraton Commander is false advertising since it can't be your commander. 0 out of 10, worst card I've ever read in my entire life. Anyways, it giving your dinosaurs an evasive keyword really comes in handy, especially since a lot of them have trample, which is always fun to combine with flying. Its token effect is fine, I guess, and its toughness makes it a fine discover number off of Pantlaza. Look, if I see a dinosaur, Pantlaza is what's going to come to mind, I'm sorry. Madam Null is, um, I, um, she's hot, okay? But if I put cards on these lists just because they're hot, these videos would be like 50 minutes long, and I just think it's a great addition to life gain decks, especially ones like Willow Dusk and Baitor, where you want to balance life payment and life gain. It's a fine blocker for 3 mana with Death Touch, and yeah, she's hot. I don't, I think my nose is bleeding. Next card. Mutagen Man Living Ooze makes your artifact token abilities cheaper, which is an effect I really like since a lot of stuff like food and clues can feel bad for 2 mana at times, and making stuff like blood and mutagen free is always fun. Not much to say about it, I just think it's neat. Okay, so now for probably a short section on the commander cards. So there's a few cards in the commander precon I wanted to talk about, which I normally don't do, but I thought it would be fun this time. So if you guys want me to just stick to the main set in the future, let me know, and this will just be a one-off. Otherwise, here's some of my favorite cards from the precon that came with TMNT. Big Mother Mouser is a genre of card I really like, creatures that make more creatures when they die. This one also working with proliferate and artifact synergies makes me extra excited for it. And I can see this being good in a lot of artifact decks I have, maybe even Baitor since Baitor can put +1/+1 counters on it, and you can aristocrat it away and get a bunch of tokens off of it, especially since it doubles the +1/+1 counters on it. I have to include Electric Seaweed on here. It's so stupid and it's such a silly reference, but it's also just a neat card in general. I like the chain of damage across creatures. It's an inefficient board wipe, I admit, but it's still a silly one that also makes for a good defender. I don't know. I think it's neat. Tempestra Dame of Games is a basic copier, which we were so close to one of these goddamn favorite card videos not having a copier, but whatever, it's cool. Especially in decks that make treasure or clues or blood or whatever. It even makes the copy not legendary, so you can double up on some silly shit and double up on your commander. What's not to love? You can argue that
Continue.
it's not the best revival spell in the world, but it's just flavorful enough and just useful enough with it being an instant that I give it a pass. It's really fun. Come on, guys, learn to live a little. Endless Foot Assault. I'm not making the joke. I'm not making the joke. I'm not making a joke. I'm not making a joke. I already said it. I already said that I'm done with that. I'm not making a joke. Anyways, it's really cool. I like Squad on a non-creature spell that still feels flavorful, and I can see having enough mana and making this a fuckload of times, along with populate effects, making it even more cool. I just think it's a really fun card. And those are my favorite cards in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, including the Commander deck this time, I guess. I think this is a really cool set. I don't think it's as cool as Avatar, and I like the mechanics of Spider-Man and the flavor of Spider-Man a bit more. But I can understand that people think it's too cartoony or doesn't mesh with Magic well. But I think they did a good job of making it work, and I think there's enough cool stuff in here. I like Orzhov ninjas to differentiate them from the Dimir ones. I think Turtle Typal is neat, while doing it with a type that could get cool support in the future, with stuff like Bloomborough. I could see them doing turtles. I don't know. I just think it's a cool set. I just don't think it's as cool as Final Fantasy or Avatar or whatever. And those are my favorite cards of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I hope you enjoyed the video and thanks for watching. I know, I'm sorry that the audio was worse in this one. It's just my partner's headphones broke and I couldn't wait until they got a new one in order to use that mic because this video has to go out soon because it's tied to the TMNT set, which comes out in like a week or less from me recording this. So I just had to get this out. I apologize again if the audio is awful, but I hope it's at least fine or whatever. I have the usual stuff that I usually talk about in the description. I have a Blue Sky, I have a Let's Play channel, both of which you get updates on what's going on with my channel. The next video I'm probably doing is my favorite cards in every set since I started playing the game. That's going to be I don't know if that's going to be a long one or if it's just going to take long to edit, but we'll see. I want to do another EDH guide before then, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I've been rambling for too long now. Thanks you for watching again, and I'll see you guys in the next video.